they're so young. I mean, you try to, some of their stuff I can't remember when I was 18 having to go through this stuff. So, but he's been great. And they love playing with him because he makes the game easy for them. He's 6'9". He is a 5 and wants to be a 5, but he's also a 4. Your 4 can be one of those big guys, and he could stay at a 5. Just, he's been great, though.
Kind of along those lines, I know the obvious is to lean on Antonio and Trey as your leaders and veteran guys, but is Adu kind of almost your third vet?
He's been good, and part of it is being so comfortable in your own skin and how you're playing and what you're doing. If you're still trying to establish, it's hard to be that guy. That's why it's hard for a freshman to come in and in the summer say, I'll take over this team. It takes time. But eventually, if the freshman is supposed to lead, he will lead. We've had that here before.
Hey, Coach, we're talking about veterans. Obviously, you have veterans on this team, but you also have 8 first-year players. So what's it like to coach a more youthful group again after the last few seasons?
I don't know. I've never done that before. I'm teasing you. Biggest thing is, do you have good people with good hearts that are willing to share? And we do. They're all competitive as heck when we practice. It gets chippy. But after it's over, like the other day, yesterday, we had one of our best practices, and it was chippy. And then as I walked off to go through the locker room to my office, I could hear them in the locker room absolutely, I don't know what they were doing, but they were screaming and yelling and laughing and throwing, and that's what you want from your team. That, yeah, we're on the court, we're competing, but let's have fun together. So, and having all the young guys, I've said it before, if you ask me talent or experience, I'm taking talent, and the talent usually figures it out. And we've had, a couple transfers since I've been here, most of them graduate transfers, older players who have added to our team, but we've been kind of selective. We're not just saying we're trying to take 6 transfers. And we'll talk to a lot of kids. We'll have them on campus. But you'll find out usually the decision is made, whether it be by us or them, whether they should be coming or not. It's a made decision, knowing this isn't for everybody. You're recruiting a transfer. What's one of the first things he wants to know? You guys are basketball people. What's that? Beyond playing time.
How many shots they'll get?
How about I'm starting? Am I going to be the main guy? I'm leaving. I'm doing. And you all know me. We're not going down that road. I don't do it with anybody. And so I can't do it with somebody when I have freshmen here. You're better than them, beat them out. They understand that. This is, I like the team because we have the experienced, physical guys. And I know Antonio did not shoot the ball well up in Kentucky. But he is so much a better player than he was a year ago. It's not even close. He is so much more comfortable, even comfortable when things don't go right. Much more physical and able to get and create stuff. So really happy for him.
Okay, going through practice with preparing for a season with 3 7-footers who are out.
The one was there for 3 days, but it's, yeah.
Are you playing a certain style now that may change once the big guys get in there?
Still want to be fast, still want to be random. I want to be out there with basketball players that can play. You don't have to run plays every time down. They understand how to space and cut and play. But I've said it before, you all that have followed us, even my own career, we always had post presence, rim protector. All the teams that I've coached that won 38, 35, Final Fours, Elite Eights, National Championship game, they all had rim protection. And when you don't, well, I'll even go back to Nerlens. We weren't bad And then we lost them what? We were bad. I mean, so you need that, and we have it. We just got to get them on the court.
John, at SEC Media Day, you said you guys have been good the last couple of years. You just haven't been Kentucky good. Are you confident that this group can be Kentucky?
We got to play the games.
Or when
You know, I feel comfortable with who we are, but you know when you'll know at the end of the year. All right, were we Kentucky good? These kids want to be, and they got a winning will to win and a toughness and all that. But would you like my projection of our record? Come on, I'm not going to do that. I mean, but I know this. I could tell you our schedule is one of the toughest in the country. I can tell you right now our league is projected to be one of the toughest in the country. And, you know, my first couple of years, there were 2 or 3 teams you worried about. Now there's 9 or 10. It's totally a different setup, which does 2 things. It takes off having to win back in the day at South Carolina. Frank said, if he beat you, I felt so bad for you because your RPI and everything else was wrong. I mean, but then they got good and went to a Final Four. So this thing, it's changed, and but Kentucky is Kentucky. We still, like recruiting in the 24 class, really good. 25 class, maybe better. I feel good about where the kids want to play here and want to be here and all that. Well, let's go. Let's get this group. Part of the reason is this group came. And these were popular players within the basketball world. And so now they've all gotten better. I mean, have improved, the whole group of them. Now, Aaron fighting to come back, Ugo fighting to come back, Z back into a ramp up to get him more ready. Now, let me just say this. I mean, I've loved what this kid has done. I mean, it has been, for him to go through what he did when he could have just said, I'm going to another school. He didn't. Said, I want to be there. Then all the travel and all the visa and get over here and then want to get going. We do the ramp up. I wasn't comfortable, and I'm just telling you, when I saw him the first time, I think it was his excitement to be playing. All right, this is what I'm seeing. But he's going to be fine. I'm just a little leery. Like today we go body to body. He'll work out, but he's not going to go body to body, which he got to go tomorrow body to body or he won't play Friday. But my guess would be he'll be in the next exhibition game because he is in pretty good shape, but he's not in there's a thing of, okay, he's in running shape and all that, and he was shooting. Then all of a sudden it becomes like football. That's a different type of mentality. So, but I'm proud of him, love him. He's going to be so good for this team. He's a basketball player. Everybody that's come in contact with him loves him.
John, you've taught us through the years that we shouldn't rebound with one hand. And I'm wondering, with all the new players coming in, freshmen or even transfers, how much time, if much at all, do you have to spend breaking bad habits before you get them playing the way you want them to?
I don't think you can break habits. I think you create new ones. So and then you don't worry about the other one. Just create a new habit, which is two-handed rebounds. Now, one of the guys that rebounds with one hand is Z. But if he goes up there and gets them, I'm probably not going to say a whole lot. But we're really on the two-handed stuff. Justin right now. And then what I'm saying to them, this is really hard, and it's hard because they got to play different than they played. And what I've said this before, what's successful in high school may not be successful in college. And what's successful in college may not be successful in the NBA. So my thing is you've got to create habits that make the uncomfortable stuff become comfortable because it's habits. It's all it is. So some of the stuff we do every day does consume time, but it's for them. And I'll tell them, this is for you, not our team. What we're doing right now is for you. So if you go half speed or act like it doesn't matter, you're cheating yourself because this is not for our team. This is for you. So, yes, when you're coaching, you ask me the question about 8 or 9 new guys. That's the biggest challenge. How do you get them to create habits that will lead to their success, yet bring a team together? That means you better have good guys that are willing to share and have good hearts.
Coach, we've seen, obviously, we've talked so much about the evolution of college basketball off the court and you as a coach off the court. But what about on the court? How do you feel like you need to continue to grow as a coach on the court, and how have you evolved?
Well, the game is changing, and I think you would admit the dribble drive and the stuff positionless, we've been ahead of the game in most of those. And now the game has become random, like really. The questions the NBA people are asking, does he love the game because they got to get better? That means they live in the gym. And do they process? In other words, if they have to catch it and put it under their chin and then see what's there, that's not where the game is. It's more about spacing and creating closeouts. And so, you know, we study the game, but here's what you have to accept and know. The coach knows his team better than anybody. So you could say, so-and-so plays like this, why don't you play like that? If I had his team, I'd play like that. I have this team. We have to play like this to give ourselves the best chance. But the game is becoming random. You're going to have some teams that'll play slower and run plays. You know why? Because they have to. They have no choice. But the game is becoming random, and it's becoming positionless. When you see the kid in San Antonio bringing it up and in a pick and roll and he's 7'2", you understand the game is positionless now.
Going back to Z, you said, my guess is he'll be in the next exhibition game. Did you mean Friday or did you mean next week?
Probably next week. You know, he's not going today, so he's going to do individual work, but he's not going to go the body to body with his teammates. So if you all know, I'm normally the guy that says, if you're not going to practice before, you're not going to play in the game. But again, for him, I want him to be at his best. We'll continue the ramp up. If he's able to go tomorrow, which we'll see, I'll see more today. And then we'll go from there. My guess is he's a little frustrated with me. But there seems to be a lot of people frustrated with me, so that's okay. Like I always do, I'm going to look after the kids and try to do what I think is best for them and us.
Can you define what's the whole ramp up? What's that involved?
Well, it starts with what his issues are. You deal with those, and then you deal with the conditioning, and then you deal with 2-on-2, 3-on-3, and then you deal, all right, you're ready to go. And I think we threw him in a little bit too fast in what we did. And he was good. I mean, anybody that came in and watched were like, yeah, he's good. I mean, he's a good basketball player. But he's not like King Kong. He's another piece for us.
Okay.
Now it's been a little while since you've gotten to link up again with Chuck Martin. What does he bring to the gym on a daily basis, and what's it like being around him again after a couple of years apart?
Chuck is family. He was with us at Memphis, became a head coach. So proud of him. He has been in our profession at different places. He's really upbeat. He's really positive. He is a worker, a grinder, has great relationships with the players, and has great ties in recruiting. So he is. His son was going to school here, which is why this kind of played out the way it played. So he's able to be here and be with his family.
I thought it was interesting the other night that Rob Dillingham said he didn't have to make a play every time down court. Is that a player finding his role? Was he trying to do too much early on?
Well, he's playing in a different way, and I'm proud of him. I mean, if you remember when I had John Wall, we were saying you don't have to make the ESPN top 10 play 15 times in a game. You just do it once, and it'll be on ESPN. So his game has been that, and I'm just saying be efficient. You can't mess with the ball. No one wants to see a ball stopper. You get it, and it stops, and you mess around. You have open shots. You have plays to make them. Play for your team, and they'll play for you. And now all of a sudden he goes up there. There were 3 or 4 plays in the whole game that I would say, come on, man, you don't need to do that. One was the back when he had a guy in the corner right there, and he just couldn't help himself. And it was a turnover. But that, he is so much better. I mean, let me just say what happened. This is the greatest piece of this. He goes to Toronto. Anybody up there or you watched it, he struggled. And he struggled because it was physically, they were men. They were 23. And every time he got bumped, he was off balance. He missed layups. Then he missed open shots. And then he went back to, and throw it away. I mean, it's like, what in the world? Well, so here's his choice. You think he got phone calls when we came back? Do you think he got phone calls? Why don't you come with us? You don't think that happened? So now he goes in the weight room and gains 24 pounds because he knew. And now all of a sudden you're watching him create the contact and playing through bumps. And that's what this is about here. It isn't easy. This stuff is hard. And you got other guys that can play, and you got to play with them, and you got to create for them as they create for you. So, no, I'm proud of him. He's done good stuff. And he's now, as we go forward, it's just I got to probably have a couple times where I look away. And I just, okay, geez, one of those. Because he's trying so hard. And he's a gym rat. He's in the gym too much. There'd be times I'd peek my head out the window, go, get out. You've been in there enough.
One, you kind of did that with the league, right? He was so good that you gave him a couple freebies.
Yeah, I can remember yelling at him. We're playing North Carolina in Las Vegas, and he drives down beside me. I said, drive the ball, don't you shoot it. And he pulls up and shoots it. And I went in, and I said, good shot. Way to go, kid. You just keep playing.
And kind of along the line, you said, like, if a freshman is meant to lead, like, by the end, they will lead. Is there a guy that you can tell is trying, a freshman that's trying to lead this group that seems capable in the long run of maybe getting it?
Yeah, I think DJ's doing it, but they're all in that boat together, still trying to figure out exactly who I am. Yesterday, I grabbed DJ because he had 2 shots. They were deep, but he didn't shoot them. And I said, dude, shoot the ball. If they go under a pick and roll, they go. You have it. You let it go. And so then he starts making shots. They're all in the same boat, all of them. Justin the same. Trying to get him to really be that slasher and do the things. So.
Hey, John, you kind of like having a season where you're not going in ranked top 5, ranked top 7. People are talking about all these other teams.
Yeah, I never paid attention to it anyway. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, right now with the transfer stuff and kids leaving programs and their whole team leaving, or they get a transfer that they're saying is the greatest of all time and the guy's a dud. I mean, you don't know who's who. So last year, none of those teams were picked in the top 25, and they're in the final game, and Connecticut wins it. Teams that were in the top 5 didn't even go to the NCAA tournament. So it doesn't matter where, and look, you're rated higher. You know where I look. Where do I look? I already told you. You guys, anybody listen to me? Where would I check if I really wanted to see where we were? There's no hope, opinion.
Your basketball court, practice court.
Your wife?
Vegas. Not my wife. She has no idea. Still have to ask her, did you borrow a weed eater? You all know me. Come on. Never cut grass in my life. Well, I did when I was 15. Almost cut my toes off. So, no, I'm not that guy. But anyway, no, Vegas. Where's Vegas have you? That stuff there's no emotion in that one. And no emotion, we're going to put this team, I'm going to make this guy mad or I'm gonna make my guy happy. So I may look there and I haven't, but that's where I would look. And the whole thing with this, what I'm trying to get them to do is how good can we be? If we do this together, how good can we be? And yes, we need a couple of these guys to get healthy. But even without, look, we did some good stuff. And we're still doing some good stuff. I mean, I have an interesting team. They can shoot it. Doesn't mean they shoot it all the time. I mean, we went up there and we've had practices where this guy, that guy, that guy are 0 for 12. So they're normal. They're not machines. But they can shoot it, and you're going to have to play them. Yes, right there.
We talked about the youth of this team and how they all sort of blend together. One of the players, Reed Shepard, he got some good experience in the global games. What have you liked seeing from him coming into the season, and what do you think his role for this team can be?
He's been really good. I mean, he's been really good. He's one of those guys, and Jordan is one of those guys that don't have that expectation stuff where I got to live up to this or that. They're just playing. The pro day, every pro scout loved Jordan. Like, part of it is because they had never seen him before. They're looking at a 6'8" guy, and they're saying, oh, my gosh, this kid here. The other one was Reed up in Toronto. They love Reed. One of the things he did was block 5 balls, 3-point shots, 5 of them. Well, what's the shot in the NBA they're all trying to guard? That 3. And here's a kid blocking 5 of them in those. And so he's done stuff. He makes everybody better. Doesn't have any ego about it. He went up to Northern Kentucky. I think he was 2 for 11 or 3 for 11. I mean, 2 or 3 for 11. What's the difference? 2 or 3 from 11. But he had the biggest plus minus. He had 7 rebounds, had 5 or 6 assists, had 4 steals, and didn't make shots. And you walk away saying he had the biggest impact on the game. So if I'm this team, I want him on the floor with me when I play. So, greatest kid. What's that? We are?
Yeah, when we first got here, you said this was a 10-year job. Now you're halfway through another 10 years. Can you talk about what this?
Did I say 10?
Can you talk about what this run's about like for you?
Did I not say 7? Did I say 10? 10. No, look, here's what I would say. This is one of those jobs. You have to love the grind of it. You cannot listen to the clutter. You can't. You can't buy into anything. You just got to make sure you're coaching your team. But the other side of it is you got to get the best players you can get here because the expectation, it doesn't matter who's in that uniform. What's the expectation? National championship. So if you're not continuing to get the best, and in a certain year, that great class, it may be a down year. And now all of a sudden you're going. So it's not just the coaching. It's you got to continue to recruit. Not being what I would say the anxiety of what could. You know, you can't be that guy because this thing is not that kind of job. This is one lock into the kids. And I think I've done that and continue to say, I don't care what other people are doing and how they're doing it with their programs. We have this transfer portal. We have name, image, and likeness. If a kid's whole goal is all about NIL, this ain't the place you go. Not with what you're asking me. This is bigger than that. Now, you'll do better here than any other place you'll go because it's you as a big-time player and Kentucky together. Now, this basketball program, tied to that, you're going to do well. But it's the last thing you talk about here. It's the last thing. So, you know, like I said, I'm having fun doing what I'm doing. Last year, the early part was a struggle, but the kids, we never left them and they never left us. Just kept fighting. How about 4 of them are on NBA rosters? That's like the Kentucky effect. 4 of last year's team are on NBA rosters. So, we're doing this stuff. Let's break through. Unfortunate when we had Maxey and Quickly in that group. I mean, it makes you want to. That's why they cried on the bus on the way back from Nashville. They knew they could have won it all. They still talk about it now. That was 10 years ago. No, it wasn't. So we're close. This group, what is happening in 24, 25, I'm liking where this program is right now.
Couple more, far right.
I'm curious about your general thoughts on NIL and how much you think it has changed, the players' pressure to live up to some of the deals that they get, and how that changes, I guess, the way they interact with you and ask for playing time and things like that.
Good question, but let's go to the issue, the transfer portal first, and then I'll hit it. 5 years to play for. You can transfer once without penalty. How about this one? And I've said this before, you probably didn't listen to me, but if you stay at a school 4 years, we'll give you a 5th year at that school. And you want to play 5, stay at the same school, 5 years. If you don't, all this stuff that's happening, it becomes a kid walking in saying, if you don't do this for me, I'm going to leave. What? And then it's the tampering of the other guy saying, if you do this here, we're going to do this. It's all based in that transfer portal. So let's fix it. We can't. You got 5 years to play for. If you transfer once without penalty and then get hurt, you play your 5th year. If you have issues, your family's sick, you have mental health, you need a year off. And then you play your 5th year. And we just roll with it. And that's it. If you want to play, that's what the rules are. Let's go. Name, image, and likeness is a little different animal. You guys know I've been for it for years, but it's not turned into the market value, and it's not. We used to do autographs and all the stuff we did, and I said, why wait until after the year? It's their name. It's their. But now there's no guardrails. There is absolutely no leadership, none. Who's it falling on to deal with? The coaches. There's no one else involved in this. And they all stay clear in case something happens. Leadership. What are we doing? I say real simple. Transparency. Transparency. We have a clearinghouse for academics. Let's have one for NIL. Everything has to go through that clearinghouse. So now you don't have to, the HIPAA laws will not let you name a name, but you'll know player A, player B, player C, collectively what they're doing, how they're doing it. And now, because right now, you guys think everybody's making $5 million because you don't know. Or you could say whatever you want to say. So I've called the kids in many times. I did it last year. Done it this year. How are you doing with it, Coach? Thank you. We're doing great. Any issues in the locker room? No, because they know so-and-so may make more than them, but they're happy. They're making more than their dad made. So they're, hey, woo, I'm good. And yeah, I know he's this and this. So we're not having those issues. And I'll just tell you, most of our guys, before they come here, have deals that we're not even involved in, whether it be trading cards, shoe deals, other things that they have. If you're a top player and you come to the University of Kentucky basketball program, you know you're going to do fine. You ask about living up to the stuff. For us, that's probably the lead. It's living up to all the expectations we have playing on the court and being at Kentucky. And so I'm not thinking that any of us or me. And then playing time, no, I don't think it, well, you got to play him because he's doing this. I don't think anybody has a contract that says if you play so many minutes, you're going to get so-and-so money. I mean, I don't believe that. So, but it's a good question. Did that answer it, what I was saying?
Last one, Ben.
You mentioned some recruiting classes are down years. Some recruiting analysts think this is a class that's a down year. No,
we got all the best of the down year there.
Yeah, I mean, what do what are you seeing there, and what does give you the confidence that with just
You know when you
have
know,
lessons, but-
yeah, but you know when you'll know whether it was a down year, when the year ends.
Yeah.
So, they're so young. I mean,